Thanks. Okay, so you're originally from which country?
Afghanistan.
And you came here how long ago?
20 years ago.
20 years. And how did you find yourself in Britain?
British. This is the land of opportunity. And I always had a job. People are very friendly.
How did you get from Afghanistan to Britain though?
It took me 8 months. Pakistan, Iran, Turkey, Bulgaria, different countries. So I don't know all the things. It took 8 months. And then at the end I came to the Calais, France. I was staying there in a camp. There are a lot of people from other countries like Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, they were there as well. So we used to come. And the French authority, obviously, they were not stopping us. Sometimes they used to tell us, it's too late, come tomorrow. So we used to try and come. So when I came, then I applied for asylum. Because they told us if once we enter to England, so then it's hard. The Home Office will not accept you. So luckily I got...
Hard to send you back, you mean?
But there was nothing in Afghanistan. Taliban was in power.
So you were in Afghanistan, the Taliban were in power.
Yeah.
And what was the threat of the Taliban for you?
Taliban, everyone, they wanted us to either join us. Let's come to jihad, you know.
Right. And if you didn't join them, what would the threat be?
The threat be you should have a beard. They used to make you go to pray. And either you are with them or you are against them. That's it.
And if you're against them, there's a risk that what, they might kill you? Or?
Anything, yeah. Happily. They used to beat people. Yeah.
Right.
So that's the thing. But yeah, and luckily I got a chance to come out.
And so you travelled across different countries to get to the French border.
Yeah.
And then how did you get from the French border into Britain?
It was to come here, obviously. We sold our land.
You sold your land in Afghanistan?
Yeah, our family land, $14,500 American dollar. And luckily I bought that back, $34,000. I bought it back, I still have that land. Obviously I made all that money here. So it was with agent to bring me here, $14,500.
So you paid an agent?
Yeah. So he was bringing us in different way. They used to have connection, each other.
So
like
you paid a people smuggler?
Yeah. That was the way we came here. Or everyone did do the same. Yes.
Right. Was that person British?
No. It was like from Afghanistan.
Oh, so it originated in Afghanistan.
Yeah, and then from Afghanistan there was another one. Then in Iran was another one. Then in Turkey was another one.
I see.
Then sometimes they used to tell us to ring them that they are not giving us money or food or anything. So the other, then we used to ring back home.
Right.
They are not giving us food. Then they used to go to ask the agent, and he used to ring them, please.
So it was like almost like a network.
Yes, it is. Yes.
It still is a network.
Yes, it is. Yes. Yeah.
And did you travel by yourself?
We used to walk.
Or were you with friends? Or?
Yeah. It was not only me. It was friends.
And
a lot of people. Yes.
Was it your family? Like, I don't know if you're married or you've got
at
children.
that time I was 22 years old, so I was young. Yeah.
So it was you and other young men.
Yeah, there was a lot of others. Yes. Yeah.
And you said earlier that you got into Britain by sneaking into the back of a truck.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Down on the truck, with the tire.
Yeah.
I was like hanging like this. And
so you could see the road beneath you?
Yeah. Of course. When they used to brake, believe me, it used to come a little bit like this.
That's incredibly dangerous.
Everyone used to come this way.
How long did you have to hold on for or strap yourself
I was
on for?
lucky. I was there 2.5 hours.
Okay, but that's still an incredibly risky journey.
It was November, and it was very cold, very windy, and I was wearing a few coat, trousers. Luckily, we got it here.
And then, so you came here and you asked for asylum because of the situation in Afghanistan.
Yes.
And what happened?
They gave me 4-year stay, and obviously when I came here, they sent me to Bradford.
Yeah.
And second day I got a job £1 an hour in a very well-known restaurant in Bradford. Very well-known.
Which restaurant?
Akbar restaurant.
Akbar.
Yeah, they used to give me £1 an hour, and I was working there
As a waiter?
as a waiter. Yes.
And you got that job on your second day in Bradford?
On my second day. Yes.
That's good for capitalism, right?
Yeah. A lot of people, even now, the student who used to allow 16 hours, they work there for £90 per week, 6 days a week, and they show on the book. So yeah.
Slave labour almost.
So almost.
Some would say slave labour.
Yeah.
And so you were in Bradford. How long were you in Bradford for?
20 years. So.
And what happened to your life during your time in Bradford? Were you able to buy? Was it successful? Were you able to buy a car, property?
After 6 months before that, obviously, I had another job as well in daytime, and I wrote to Home Office that if you give me work permission, I can get a job. So I always used to have 2 jobs, and on my lunch break, I used to go Monday and Wednesday for English language. So I improved my English, and in 2003, yes, I applied as a mature student for a degree to do accountancy and law.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2006 I was graduated.
Congratulations.
And I got a job as an assistant accountant. But in Bradford, the majority is Pakistanis, so I was working with them.
Right.
So the main issue used to be in our office, and that time was the hot issue was Saddam Hussein, George W. Bush, Osama bin Laden. They used to discuss that with me. So one day I told them, Saddam is not my uncle, George Bush is not my cousin. It got nothing to do with me. Right, Osama is not even from my country. So then I decided I'm not racist, I still have a lot of friends, but it's better to work with English people. So I applied for jobs, and I got a job as a contractor in HBOS Bank, the merger of Halifax and Royal Bank of Scotland.
So you came here as an asylum seeker from Afghanistan.
Yeah, with no qualifications.
With no qualifications.
Nothing, no.
You could only speak little English.
No, just like a few words.
A few words.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah. And through getting asylum and through being in Leeds and Bradford, you were able to learn English, study, get qualifications, and become an accountant, and then become a manager of the Halifax and the Royal Bank of Scotland.
I was not manager. It was a business consultant.
Okay, but
that was a contractor job.
Right.
So they used to pay us very good, but they were using the system as well.
Sure, but you had a good job.
Yeah.
And do you think you would have been able to have had that job in Afghanistan or get those qualifications? Or
when I went back to Afghanistan, when I became British, the Taliban regime was changed. I went back home because as a journalist, most of journalists, their dream to work for BBC.
Yeah.
Once that come in your CV, you can get job anywhere. So for us as an accountant, it's our dream to work for KPMG. So I went to Kabul. I thought, okay, I will sit there and apply for jobs. They offered me $400, but I realized I was the soft target for Taliban.
Right, of course.
So
there was still a big risk for your safety.
Even now it is, because we are British.
Right.
Yeah. When we go there, we think I'm born in this village. This is my people, but no, they still think we have changed.
And you said earlier that you were also able to buy a house and that you own property.
Yeah, I bought my house in 2006.
Which is an achievement in itself, right? To be able to buy a house.
Yeah. I still have a 4-bedroom house there, yes.
So you still have a 4-bedroom house in Bradford.
Yeah. And it's on rent, yeah.
Great. Yeah. So you get an income from renting the house there?
Yeah, £650 and yeah.
Great. And
I'm renting here $1,450 I pay. Near Heathrow Airport.
And you're working, obviously, we've met here in a taxi, in an Uber taxi in London, because you've recently moved to London, haven't you, from Bradford?
Yes.
And how do you find living in the capital?
Believe me, I regret why I didn't move before.
You wish you would have moved before?
Yeah. Very nice place. People are very mixed, and yeah, I'm happy here.
But a lot of people say the north is very warm and friendly. What's been
As they are, yes.
what's been your experience of British people on the whole?
You know, when I was coming from Afghanistan, like why we choose to come to England, why not to Germany or other country? I respect them.
Because you you obviously had to pass through a lot of those countries to get to Britain.
Yes,
and you could have sought asylum in, because the whole point of asylum is that you reach the first country of freedom and that you stay there.
Yeah. But
so why didn't you do that? If you
in my country, people say, and that is true, I'm agree. I will say, English people or British people, they have dignity, respect. If you are good to them, they are 1,000 times good to you. That's my own experience, and I'm happy. And that's why most of people, they want to come here. Believe me.
And has that been true of your experience? That people have been largely good to you and
very good, very friendly, very helpful. Yes, they are good in every society.
Yeah.
But in majority, people in this country, yes, I'm happy to be part of this country. This country is the land of opportunity.
A lot of young people, not necessarily young people, a lot of people, especially on the left of the political spectrum, would say that Britain is racist and oppressive and xenophobic.
No. Yes.
And that it oppresses people like you who come here for a better life and for freedom and safety. What would you say to those people?
No, they should work hard as well. I say again, like I said, this country is the land of opportunity. Nobody is stopping you. If you make a business, if you make a loss, you can apply benefit or something. You know, you can still get we have NHS here. You can have a pension, you have security, everything. I don't understand why some people are complaining. It's up to them, but they should think positive and learn from others.
And often, a lot of these people who are complaining, saying that Britain is racist, and I'm sure there is certainly. Obviously, there's always going to be. There's some racism everywhere, but a lot of these people who are complaining about Britain being racist and xenophobic are white, middle class, professionals in the London bubble who don't have your experience, and yet they're telling you what your experience is like, and you're saying, no, that's not correct. I've had a great experience.
Yes, it's a great experience. You will see, and you go to any shops, any office, you see different people. Just you have to believe in yourself, and you have to work hard for it. I don't think there is any racism or anything in small level or in some year. I will say good and bad in every country. No, you just follow the law. You are there. You live like a king.
So you don't feel like you're oppressed in any way?
No, not at all.
You don't feel like you're a victim of a racist society?
No, not. I am happy to be part of this society, and my children are part of this society.
Do you identify as British now, or do you identify as...
British.
Do you?
Yes. I am British. I'm not going to go back. My children are in this country. I am here. And this country, when I came here, I had just a few pounds in my pocket. Now, no. I'm happy.
And you're alive?
I'm alive. I'm happy. I'm part of this society. I can vote. I can everything. Whenever I go, yes, people respect me. They listen to me. Yes.
One last question. What do you think of... There's a lot of people who claim to be championing equality here in Britain, but they don't do anything about improving human rights or equality in parts of the world where it's really necessary.
I think in British we are one of the best countries in human rights and everything. If you look, like we have equal opportunity everywhere, and some area even I know people, they don't have paper. The police, they can't ask where you from because I think
because of human rights.
One of the best. Because of the racism or anything, police are, they don't ask directly. So and human rights, everything. Still, this country is the best. The reason is you will see how many people they have come here and they live in this country. Look, if you want to go to mosque, if somebody want to go to Gurdwara, how many faith and religion we live here? We all live peacefully. So some people may have complaint or something, but I don't think so. No.
And I guess your opinion matters more than theirs do
Yeah, I think it's the best.
when it comes to this kind of experience.
Yes, it's the best country.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah. So I would say to people, try to learn, like improve your ability, your skill. This is the best country, and be thankful what you have.
Do you think?
Always try to contribute to community.
Do you think a lot of British people need to appreciate what they've got?
I know. That's why I always talk to them like this. Yes, I say to them, you don't know how lucky you are.
And the West in general, like, you know, a lot of people don't like America and they have issues with the president or the choice of president. And yet America is probably the world's greatest success stories on immigration.
Yes,
And freedom.
because most of our passengers, they come from the state to visit London, and they are complaining about the America, the United States, and they say there is a lot of homeless people, there is a lot of drug addicted people. In this country we have as well. Obviously, that is in every country you go. Yes.
The people need to appreciate what they've got more.
Yes, yeah. In school, everywhere, they are working on it, the children, everything, yes.
Great.
You know, like when I go to swimming pool, I take my daughter as well. And some people told me, no, don't take it. I said, come on. Yes.
Don't take your daughter.
To the swimming pool to swim with you.
Why?
Because she is a girl.
Because she's a girl, right?
Yeah. And I said to them, no. She has every right, the same like my son.
So you think being in Britain has... Do you think being in Britain or being in the West has made you a better person?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes. You know what I believe? You may not be agree. Everyone is a good person. The situation make you worse or something.
Yeah.
Everyone want to be kind,
Yeah.
be respectful, and be nice to others. So if you have the opportunity, if you have a good life, good education for your children, and I think yes, I feel a better person when I go to anywhere. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Great country.
Thank you.